everyone, and welcome to this exclusive interview. I'm your host, Cheshta Dora, Head of Research Content and Community at People Matters, and it's great to have you all join us today. This conversation is part of a week called Building a Skills First Organization, brought to you in partnership with Skillsoft, where we aim to help organizations reflect on the change that's underway and define strategic learning practices that will help them thrive. As part of this series, we are delighted to talk to Govind Srinivasan, Global L&D Leader at Conduent.
Hi, Sheshta.
Hello, Govind. A very warm welcome to you.
Thanks for having me. Thank you.
Great. So, a little bit of introduction about Govind. He's a learning leader with experience in large multinational organizations, including IBM and Conduent, formerly called Xerox Services. He brings extensive experience in learning strategy and transformation, performance and learning consulting, design, development, and deployment of learning and knowledge solutions. Thank you so much, Govind, for bringing such deep learning and development expertise and for agreeing to speak with us today.
Happy to be here.
Great. And our theme for the conversation today is the next era of workforce transformation, trends, insights, and approaches on emerging technologies. I thank you again for joining us today. And Govind, welcome to the discussion. With that, I would love to start with the first question. So, as a learning leader, what top trends will dominate the future of learning in the next 5 years, according to you?
Again, thanks for having me. Before I delve into trends, let me talk to the context of the changes in workforce, which perhaps will drive the future of learning, right? To name a few, as everybody knows, increased adoption of remote and hybrid work models in organizations, then rapid technological advancements and digital transformation, and agile and adaptive structures in the organizations, changing demographics and multi-generational workforce, focus on well-being and mental health, right? And emphasis on diversity, inclusion, equity, and so on and so forth, including sustainability. Now, based on this, the trends that I envisage, right? First and most importantly, the learning function will have to embrace the hybrid work model and culture of their organization so that the learning and skill needs of all employees are met, whether they are fully remote or hybrid or fully working in offices. Now, meaning meet the employees where they are. Again, meaning meet the employees where they are. The learning teams will first need to change their mindset quickly to adapt to these continual workforce changes and preferences. Second, the learning function will have to keep pace with agility of the organization in terms of emerging and evolving skill needs, driven by, as we said, rapid technological changes and digital ways of working across industries. Adoption of automation, artificial intelligence, machine learning is transforming job roles, increasing efficiency, and enabling data driven decision making. And the demand for digital skills is rising, prompting organizations to invest in upskilling and reskilling their workforce to stay competitive in a technology driven market. So, speed and scale of enabling the workforce to learn and skill themselves in these areas will be key to the future of learning. Third, learning teams will need to recognize, as I said, demographic shifts, including multi-generational workforce, diversity of the workforce, sustainable practices, and demand for green skills, as we call now, right? Under the umbrella of corporate social responsibility and the criticality of overall well-being of employees, including work-life balance and mental health. So I think these are things that are going to really change the future of learning.
That's amazing. It's great to know how you touched upon green skills as well as part of the sustainability initiatives that organizations are running. And I love the way how you framed it as meeting the employees where they are. So that's amazing. Now, in context of these top trends that we have just discussed here, Govind, what are some of the common challenges you see organizations are likely to face when adapting to the change in workforce transformation?
So, talking about the challenges, again, from a learning perspective, organizations will continue to face some of the known challenges like availability of the time for the learner, which is again a no brainer, right? Use data and analytics effectively to target the right audience with the right content at the right time. Measuring learning effectiveness and the skill obsolescence, which will continue to happen. Keep curating content which is relevant, and again engaging and motivating learners, changing demographics. All of these are going to continue. Having said that, what could be the new challenges, right? Or challenges that we see currently, which we expect to grow. First, providing a seamless learning experience. Now, for example, integrating new technologies, incorporating emerging technologies like AI and machine learning into learning platforms and methodologies can be resource intensive and complex. Now, how to choose the right tools and integrate them so that the learner doesn't feel overwhelmed, right, because of the choice that they have, right, and the learning experience is seamless. We've been facing this challenge ourselves because we have an in-house LMS, we have a learning experience platform and content providers. Each of these are integrated into one another, but there's no more work to be done, because it's not only that we need to provide seamless experience to the user, but also get the full value and benefit of each of these platforms, both for the learning function and for the user. So that's one. The second one is embedding learning with daily work, right? We have been talking about this or flaunting these terms such as just in time learning a lot, providing on demand, just in time learning resources that employees can access exactly when they need, right? Ensuring that learning is seamlessly integrated into daily workflows without causing disruption can be challenging. Now, we do have apps, widgets, for example, the Skillsoft widget that is integrated into MS Teams, or providing learning content to the learners based on their interests, keyword searches, etc., using algorithms, or reminder pop-ups that pop up and asking you to start learning something, this or that, right? Now, is that enough? The challenge of understanding when they need to learn something remains. And how do we study the learning behaviors to be able to interject at the right time with the right content in the flow of work, in the flow of their daily work, again remains a challenge. Lastly, adapting, as I said earlier, to remote and hybrid work environments. Now, challenges including virtual training delivery. However, I think transitioning from traditional in-person training programs to effective virtual complex, I think we've been partially successful or successful to an extent as learning organizations so far. We've been able to grapple with it. What remains a challenge, I think, is to build connections. Now, fostering a sense of community and collaboration among remote workers is more challenging than in face to face settings. So they learn from each other even when working from remote locations. And that remains a challenge. This kind of peer to peer learning happens a lot in face to face settings, what we call water cooler moments. And that to create in virtual settings is going to be a challenge. So I know I said a lot, but I hope, these three challenges are going to continue in the next few years.
Definitely, definitely. And I'm glad that you touched upon these points: seamless learning experience becoming resource intensive, embedding, real-time learning in daily work, and then obviously adapting to virtual learning and hybrid learning formats. I think these are some real pain points organizations are, and many of our HR practitioners are also dealing with. So it's great that you touched upon that. Now, talking about technological advancements here, and the learning space is one of the big ones here. So, in that context, moving to our next question, learning experience, as we all know, is set to be revolutionized as advancements in technologies are going to empower the learners by creating engaging learning experiences. How are you seeing this play out in your organization?
Yeah, before I give examples of how it is playing out in my organization, let me give you again a context. I think I spoke earlier about the importance of being able to meet the learners where they are, right? With advancement in technology capabilities, which we have seen, this these capabilities accelerate during COVID with all kinds of collaborative, social, interactive technologies spurting, enabling businesses wherever possible to move forward without feeling the need to have in-person interaction. Technology has really stepped up fast and furious in order to reduce the bottlenecks in the way business was conducted and to mitigate the impact. Now, learning teams also were forced in a way to explore and use these platforms that help learners to retain their competitive edge. Now, all this happened in a dizzy without any sort of anticipation or planning. I mean, and then many learning technology companies took advantage of this, right? I mean, in a positive way, they took advantage of this to enable organizations to be on the forefront of knowledge and skill game, right? In a way, the term learning experience came to be recognized of its full potential during this time. Started using the word learning experience more and more. Now, the expectation of a learner from an experience point of view is now sky high because of all of these advancements. To be able to meet this expectation is an onerous task going forward for the learning team, since each employee expects the learning to suit their pace, their level, their style, and whatnot. And in one word, super personalized to the individual, um, based on their need in the moment and in the near term or mid-term. Not only that, based on where they come from in terms of demography, as I mentioned earlier, technology savviness, and work preference. Now, so the challenge is huge for the learning function to elevate the learning experience continually, so the learners keep coming back and asking for more and skilling themselves to retain their competitive edge. Now, coming to the other question, right? How has it played out in my organization, right? Some of the key practices we have employed. One, embrace technology for learning. Now, this is key. Whether it's the new age learning experience platforms providing hyper personalized, super personalized learning experiences augmented by AI and ML, virtual and collaborative learning tools, bite sized learning, fresh and relevant content, robust adaptive assessments, gamification, helping meet learners where they are. Now, I may sound like a broken record here saying meeting learners where they are, but it's key to meet the learners where they are. So, we have tried to do that a lot. Second, change management to create a culture of continuous and self directed learning where the learner feels that he or she is in charge of their learning. So what we did was to have focused marketing and communication initiatives and planning to make sure that the employees are aware of all the tools and technology and content at their disposal, so they use them optimally, so making our investments worth it, moving the needle along this line. So the onus is on the employees to grow and thrive within the organization, not to be spoon fed unnecessarily, not to treat learning as an event, but as a serious investment of their time and energy, making it enjoyable to the extent possible, facilitate the process of bringing learning to work to their doorstep rather than making it a chore to come and take a few sessions online or offline due to compulsion, using gamification where possible, incorporating points, badges, leaderboards, and challenges into learning programs to make them more engaging and motivating, and rewarding learners who learn and perform. That's important. Learn and perform. And lastly, the leadership and management needs to have a skin in the game. Walk the talk, lead by example, do everything to demonstrate that the learning behaviors that they expect of their employees or their wards to create a culture of um, continuous and self directed learning is not just talk, but they have to walk the talk. Not just provide the employees with tools and resources and tell them, now you have everything, go and learn. I am exempted. So that's not what we expect of the leaders and managers to do. So these are some of the practices that we have employed.
That's amazing. It's good to learn how you've touched upon almost all the employee segments here while talking about how you're creating engaging learning experiences, and from leadership to culture to super personalized learning experiences. You're touching upon all of these aspects for effective learning experiences. Talking about experiences and how technology has shaped those, one of the key things that comes to play is also the curiosity of a learner, right? That plays a very important role in shaping a successful learning journey. So, what are some of the innovative approaches that organizations can deploy to harness curiosity into effective learning behaviors that also play a pivotal role in reshaping learning journeys?
So that's a great question, and I don't know if I have an answer because it's a difficult one, right? To turn curiosity into behaviors that are sustained by the employees. But let me try. Now, I referred to this earlier, super or hyper personalization. We already have many tools and platforms that recommend content based on learners' interest, their project needs, and career aspirations. And these do a decent job, I should say. And learners do feel that their specific needs are catered to by these features. Organizations have to do a much better job of promoting a culture, as I said, where employees feel they are in charge of their learning. And this is not just the learning functions job to enable a self directed learning culture. Almost all of the organizations have the tools. Do they have the wherewithal and the belief to empower employees to charter their own learning path using the tools and the content within the organization and outside of the organization? That's something for everybody to think and use approaches thereof, right? Second, um, provide a safe simulated environment to use for each learner to practice skills. Now, Skillsoft has a feature called KC, as they call it. It provides various such scenarios for behavioral skills of employees across the board to practice skills. Now, can we now harness the immense potential of Gen AI, machine learning, and automation to meet the learner at the specific point in which they are in their learning journey or skill journey? Almost handhold them based on their learning preference and style to, say, for example, move from level 3 to 4 on a 1 to 10 scale, making it as adaptive as possible, recognizing that again as an example, employee A wants to move from level 3 for a particular skill to level 4 in a specific time frame, say 2 months, whereas employee B wants to do move from level 6 to level 8 in about 6 months. Now, the assumption is that the tools successfully determine the starting point and then guide the person through the learning journey until the goal is reached. Another important facet is use of immersive technologies such as AR and VR to simulate a use case. Now, this again provides hands-on experience in a safe environment. Lastly, learning teams need to churn out curated content based on need and speed using AI technologies than developing content from scratch. This will ensure that the content is fresh and relevant. Now, all of these perhaps will help um, the learners to make this curiosity into sustainable learning behaviors.
That's great. I think touching upon from safe learning environments to using immersive interactive technology for it. You've talked about various aspects again to, bring out the curiosity, harness the curiosity of a learner. So good to see that coming out as well. Now, on to our last question, Govind. What are the new metrics, according to you, in learning that are going to be important in the future? And if there's one advice that you were to give to organizations who want to align with the new ways of measuring learning success, what would that be?
I know that there are already ways in which organizations using the Kirkpatrick model, typically L1 to L4, that's what most organizations use. Now, what I'm thinking is that it's very important to measure stickiness. When I say stickiness, stickiness of the learner to the learning platforms, to a learning journey, to a skill journey, and so on. Are they coming back frequently to take courses online or offline? Are they continuing and completing their learning or skill journey? Are they and their organization benefiting from the learning engagement? This will be an important measure of learning engagement and skill growth. And then correlate the learning engagement and skill growth to performance, career, and retention. This can be done at different levels, at an individual level, team level, project level, business unit, and organization level, to see if the learning investments are paying off. As I said earlier, companies are using different levels of measuring learning effectiveness, from time spent to satisfaction to number of courses to applying learning to improve production to ROI. Now, measuring learning stickiness, I think, is very important. Through that, measuring learning engagement and is important. Learning stickiness and engagement to measure can be tricky, but worthwhile to know the learning health of the organization. So I would add that the organizations may want to invest in trying to measure the learning stickiness, to see how it is helping them improve productivity, performance, and retention and engagement of their employees, whether they're coming back again for learning a skill, as I said, or coming back to a learning platform to learn a new skill or a competency.
That's great. That's amazing. Thank you so much, Govind, for such excellent insights. I certainly learned a lot from our conversation today, and I'm sure our audience did as well. And they now have a better understanding of the change, all the changes, all the factors that are reshaping businesses and learning landscape globally. With that in mind, would love to thank you again for joining us for this conversation, and we look forward to hosting more such exciting discussions in the future. Thank you,
Yeah.
and have a great day.
Thank you so much, Ishta. Thank you again.